Hey everybody, welcome to your horoscopes for this week. These are the horoscopes for the week ending December 19th, 2015, the second to the last full week of horoscopes for 2015 period. We've only got one more week and then the next one's end in 2016. So we're going to go ahead and get right to this week though, because we're still in this week, and we're going to start as we always do with Aries. Now that nasty little T-squared position that Uranus is in with Pluto and Mars this week is going to continue on this week, and it is a pain in the ass. I'm not going to lie about it, especially as this particular aspect sort of makes you feel like you're fighting with your professional relationships in order to get where it is that you want to go, basically to achieve those career goals and dreams that you have. Now, if you feel like you have to fight with everybody to get what you want, of course, this is not just a difficult situation, it's a really frustrating situation. And your sign in opposition with your ruling planet only makes this more difficult, because it makes it more difficult to use Mars energy for what it should be. And it, of course, goes towards the negative, which is a little bit aggressive. Now, the good news is Uranus's trine still stands with Saturn and the Sun this week, so that is definitely a good thing, and that's going to help you out. The bottom line here with all of this T-square nonsense, and of course the moon being a part of that T-square at the beginning of the week and the end of the week when she moves into your sign, this is the point where you've had enough. And every time you get to this point, that's the point when you say enough's enough, it's time to make a change. So cut your losses, do what it is that you need to do, but the biggest thing is, don't listen to all the other crap that everybody else is saying. You need to do what you need to do, and don't let anybody get in your way or stop you. Typical Rams don't let anybody stop them anyway. So you guys have a great week with that. Taurus, when it comes to reliving some of your past glories, a lot of times people look at that as being stuck in your past. And emotionally, this can take us to a very difficult place on an emotional level when you think about it. When you're reliving your past glories or past successes, experiences that were really, really good, a lot of the times that the present situation isn't looking all that great right now, we go back to those places thinking, I was so much better then, it's too bad that I'm not now at this time. And of course, we don't want to really go there because it's not very productive to getting things done now, unfortunately. Actually, reliving your past glories is a good thing because you are focusing on what you did well. And that's really the big thing for you guys this week. You've got to take a look at those past successes and look at the steps that you took to get to those successful points. Once you do that, you'll see not only that you made the right steps to get to success, but in a time right now that can be a little bit stressful or maybe even a little bit downtrodden, you can see that you have been successful in the past, and being able to see that is a really good boost, especially in your own morale and your own self-esteem, to be awesome now, basically. So when you're looking at past glories, it doesn't mean that you're living in the past necessarily. Sometimes you need to look at those things to remind yourself that you can do things, you can be successful. And right now, there really is no difference in that between now and then. It is the same. You can be just as successful now as you were in the past. So you guys have a great week with that. Gemini, you got some luck coming at you this week, especially Tuesday through Thursday, as the part of fortune comes into your sign and revisit some really great ideas from the past that you might be able to use right now. Now, I know that sounds weird, because if you had a great idea in the past and it didn't work out, our minds, of course, would tend to think that it's not going to work out now either. But we got to look at universal timing here, or the grand scheme of things. Sometimes you get a brilliant idea 5 years before you can actually even do anything with it. So this week, some of those old ideas might be popping up for you. And it's really important for you not only to pay attention to them, but to do something about them. And the other part of that importance is don't do it all on your own. You may need some help. Talk to some people around you. See who's interested. Because you know what? Sometimes it takes a village to raise an idea, if you know what I mean. And you, Geminis, really know how to pick the right people for a certain project. So you guys, good luck and have a great week with that. Cancer, with the part of fortune coming into your sign this week, towards the end of the week, it really is time to sit back and enjoy a happy, healthy, and well-rounded home atmosphere. And of course, this includes all of those people that you love the most that are incorporated into that home life. Now, when we're talking about a home, Cancers love to be at home. I mean, they are homebodies by nature. It's a security thing. It's a I'm in my space and my energy thing. But we all know, whether we're Cancers or not, that sometimes the home can provide some challenges and difficulties for us, as well as being that place that we can relax and be ourselves in at the same time. This week is really all about those beautiful things and making the most of the happy times that you have at home. I mean, in any case, these are memories that you're making right now that you're going to look back on at a later time. And every beautiful opportunity is, of course, an excellent opportunity to make some really good memories. So this week, rather than spending so much time focusing on the challenges that take place around home, you're not only given an opportunity to have a beautiful time and a lot of fun at home, and a lot of fun especially with these people that you love, but you really, really, really want to put the same amount of energy into that beautiful atmosphere that you do sometimes focusing on those challenges, because they're more important than the challenge when you think about it. And the more energy that you put into those good times, the happier you are overall. So you guys have a great week with that. Leo, spending time with those you love is really important for you guys this week, and it really needs to be a very important part of your day-to-day schedule. Now, we're not just talking about the work that's involved with those that you love, because let's face it, as much as you love these people, they are work. They need things, or they need help, or, you know, their children or older parents. They need some sort of work involved, and they can become a burden instead of the blessing that really they should be. So this week, it's really important to take the time to enjoy. Find those moments that you enjoy with those that you love and really make the most of them. These people are borrowed. I mean, we are literally on borrowed time with every single person in our lives, regardless of how we feel about them. So while we're on that borrowed time, why not take a look at some of those little things that you can put into those relationships that make things fun, whether it's little jokes or sharing a meal together or whatever it is. It really is important for you not just to spend the time taking care of people, but really spending the time enjoying those people that are there with you at this particular point in your life. So you guys, it's time to have some fun regardless of everything else that's going on when it comes to those you love. And I hope you guys have a great week with that. Virgo, Jupiter's energy is fantastic for you Virgos this week. I mean, it has been for the last few weeks, and it's going to be for several months, as a matter of fact. Jupiter doesn't move on out of your sign until September. And of course, with every planet, you've got a little bit of a balance of good and not so good. But right now, everything is just right for the picking for you Virgos. With Jupiter in grand sextile position this week with Venus, which is all about money at this time, and Pluto and Mercury to boot, because Mercury moves into conjunction with Pluto, you're talking big advancements when it comes to your career and making money. And what you do on a day-to-day basis means everything to that ultimate goal, basically. Communication, of course, is always important, and using loving words of communication is always better than using any other feeling within your communication, if you know what I mean. You don't want to use aggressive communication at this time. It's really not going to get you anywhere. But being able to really say, this is what I want to do, this is what I love to do, this is going to put so much power into what it is that you want to create for yourself, whether it's in your career or the manifestation with money. So this week, it really is time to believe in yourselves, guys. It really is time to believe that you deserve not only to make money, but to have a fantastic career in the process, or make the changes that you need to make in your career so that you can have the fantastic career that you want. And everything that you touch is going to turn into gold if you believe that it does. So you guys have a great week with that. Libra. This week's Libra horoscope is pretty interesting because it is a very clear sort of a balance in typical Libra way between two very big things. One seems bigger than the other one, but this week's horoscope is really all about changing that around a little bit. So we're going to focus, of course, on the challenge first, as Mars is still in your sign and in T-square for another week with Uranus and Pluto, and also Mercury this week, and the moon at the beginning of the week and the end of the week, because the moon's in Capricorn with Pluto, and then the moon's in Uranus with Aries. Now we're talking any kind of challenges that you've been having, especially in terms of your professional relationships. We're talking those things coming to a peak this week, unfortunately. And that is going to be a little bit of a difficulty, of course, because you're sick and tired of challenges. I mean, not only that, but Libras like to have peace, and they like everybody happy around them. And when everybody's arguing around them, it gets them a little testy, if you know what I mean. Now, Mars energy, of course, can be very aggressive, but it's really important for you to remember your ambition and not get lost in your aggression, because Mars goes both ways here. And in his placement with the sun, he's promising that you can shine when it comes to achieving some of those goals that you have, the really important ones that you've really been working towards, if you can stop focusing on the negative and focus on the positive. Now, whatever is going on in this circumstance in terms of your business, yes, it's annoying, but the more you hold on to it, the more you complain about it, the more you let it get to you, the more it's taking away from your focus on these other goals. So this week, this challenge is all about how much do you want to achieve these goals. If something's not working over here, but you could focus on this and make something over here, say, why are you worried about what's going on over here? That's the big thing. And remember, we're talking about communication here. And if Mercury is in this T-square and it's all about communication, any kind of negative communication is definitely not going to help you. No complaining, no sarcasm, no ugly jokes that mimic the truth. All of that stuff is really going to get in your way. Do you want to soar and get everything that you want, or do you want to continue to sit where you are and be miserable about it? The choice is yours, and I hope you make the right choice this week. So you guys, have a great week with that. Scorpio, it's all about money for you guys this week, and it's a positive thing about money too, which is like woo and shit, right? We're going to start, of course, with Venus being in grand sextile position with Jupiter, Pluto, and Mercury. Now, this is a great position, of course, for these three planets to be in, because Jupiter's all about expansion, making more. Pluto's all about making positive changes. Mercury's all about communication. And Venus is all about everything beautiful that you love and that you want in your life. Now, this aspect is here to really show you that how much you feel you deserve to have this money is going to open those doors of abundance in order for that money to come in and flow through. And in this, in Venus's aspect with your ruling planet of Pluto, all in your career, it's a perfect opportunity to really start making some of those positive changes that you've been planning on making, so that you can really kickstart 2016 with a bang and on a money roll, literally, if you know what I mean. All of those past can't afford this, or don't have the money for this, or where's the money going to come from this, you're going to leave at the door in 2015 so that you're ready to embrace everything you've got and everything that's meant to come to you in 2016. Now, not only that, but the dark moon is starting to come into your sign, and the dark moon is not exactly a planet, but she is a secondary body, and she moves very quickly in and out of the sign. So for the next several months, she's going to be moving in and out of your sign and Libra, and then moving on into your sign and out of Sagittarius, and she's all about change, and we're talking deep changes here. Now, while you've got Venus in aspect with Pluto, which is also all about change and personal power, you got the dark moon coming in. Honey, you got some changes to make here, but these are positive changes that are really not going to do any harm to you. They're only going to be good for you. So this week, it's time to accept this challenge of making that change in your mindset and your heart, because you need to have a balance of both here. Feel that you deserve everything you've ever wanted. Know that you deserve everything you ever wanted, and be ready, because it's coming to you. You just got to be ready for it. So you guys have a great week with that. Sagittarius! Happy birthday to all the Sagittarians born this week, and I've got several people actually in my mind that are born this week. We're going to start off on the 17th with a really good friend of mine, Ben Parks. He's just the absolute most wonderful person I think I've ever met, and we go back a few years. I have to say that I am so proud of him and so proud to be a friend of his, and just so proud to know him in this world. He has no idea, I'm sure. He really doesn't. But I hope that you have a fantastic birthday, Benny Boo Bear. And of course, also on the 17th, Peg Jones, our angelic life coach, is also having a birthday on the 17th. Peg is awesome. I've taken her angel class. It was fantastic. I mean, I've really not only learned a lot about the angels from her, but I really was able to maybe change some perceptions on the angels that I needed to change, which was really useful information. So I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day yourself, Peg. And then we're going to move on to the 18th of December, when we got our Mama Wings Thesaurus birthday. Now, of course, we want to do a great big celebration for this birthday, because Mama Wings is wonderful. She's not only my stepmom, she was my mentor. She taught me so much, and she still is out there teaching so many other people. She's got a heart of gold, and I mean, just is an amazing person. So I really hope, really hope that you have an absolutely wonderful birthday, Wings, and that you get spoiled rotten, because you clearly deserve it. Now we're going to go right to, of course, the horoscope for Sagittarius, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Of course, Saturn is still in squared position with Neptune, and what this is going to do financially for you guys is it's going to cause a little bit of an issue, okay? Because we're talking about old stuff. Neptune is in the house of old stuff, whereas Saturn is in the house of money. Now, of course, it is our responsibility to make money. We can't get away from that. In this world, unfortunately, it's just not something that we can get away from. We can be mad about it, we can hate money, we can blame money, we can do all of these different things, but really they're not productive and they're not going to work. So it's time to let go of that old pattern, if you know what I mean. When it comes to having difficulties making and or keeping money, you have to let go of those old thought processes and the old ways of feeling about money. This is unfortunately the only way that you're going to make a change. Any kind of justification of what you've been doing is not going to work for you, unfortunately. Now the good news is Saturn's position with Mars, and Mars is a lot of energy pushing you forward in order for you to understand just how much you do deserve to make money. Not just because it's your responsibility to do so, to take care of your family, but it's also your responsibility to get what you want. Now that being said, you may not be a Sagittarius that's having a money issue right now, but you might be the Sagittarian that thinks, I don't want to buy that for myself because I could save the money for something else. Buy it! Because you do deserve it, for crying out loud. You're in Sagittarius time, for crying out loud. It is time to celebrate you and all the wonderful things about you there really are. So if you feel it and you want it, don't think about it. Don't talk to anybody about it. Just get it, because you deserve it. So you guys have a great week with that. Capricorn, Mercury is moving into full conjunction with Pluto this week, and that's going to put him in a very important position in both of Pluto's major aspects this week. Now we're going to start first, of course, with the more of the pain in the ass one, if you know what I mean, which is that T-square that Pluto is in with Uranus and Mars. And of course, Mercury is a very important part of that this week. Now, when it comes to your career and making changes, just know that miscommunications are going to happen, okay? Because Mercury is in this aspect, and especially in your sign right now. It's going to seem like maybe people that you're working with, you can't communicate what it is that you want, or you feel like people are looking at you like you've got a booger hanging out of your nose or something like that. Like you're speaking Chinese and they're not even understanding what's going on. And so, of course, your main perception is they all think that you're crazy. Well, you know what? I'm sure that they thought that Einstein was crazy too, and he was actually a very brilliant person. People are not always prepared or ready to hear about new out-of-the-box ideas. And so this week, when you want to make these kinds of changes, you are going to find these little bits of challenges there, you know, in terms of people not being able to really grasp this concept right away. Now, the good news is that Pluto and Mercury are both in a grand sextile with Jupiter and Venus. So we're talking about making money. We're talking about expansion. We are talking about positive change when it comes to your career. Now, this is where we're going to separate these two challenges and yet bring them together. When it comes to making changes in your career, do you need permission from everybody else? No, you don't. You're absolutely right. I just heard several of you say no. No, you don't. You don't need any permission from anybody else. You are, after all, the person who's putting the risk in here. You're taking the risk. You're taking the ownership of that risk in order to do what it is that you want to do. And there's nobody on the planet and no other sign in the zodiac that's better at making money, keeping money, and doing the hard work. So when it comes right down to it, pay attention to what you're doing every single day. Make sure that those things that you're doing during the day are going to be prosperous for your main career goals, and just do what it is that you need to do, because nobody says no to a Capricorn anyways. You guys have a great week with that. Aquarius, as we move into a position where our focus is mainly on those who love and support us, the moon is going to be coming into our sign this week. Now, whenever the moon comes into Aquarius, most Aquarians go, because it can be emotional, and you know, we'd just rather not deal with that. But if you're talking about plain human growth, those emotions are a big part of it, unfortunately. And we just have to accept that. We don't have to like it, we just have to accept that. Now, when the moon comes into your sign this week on Monday and Tuesday, first things first, she's going to move into squared position with Venus. Now, this may cause a little bit of a money issue, or maybe even issues like, you know, you're expecting somebody to pay you back for something and they don't pay you back for it, or what have you. This can be really difficult on an emotional level, especially when you really need that money. But it can also put mindsets into your head of being undeserving of that money. Now, a lot of people sometimes don't think that this is a real thing. I mean, you know, most Aquarians have a pretty high ego and a pretty high opinion of themselves and think they deserve everything. But that's just on the surface. Deep down inside, you'd be surprised at how often we Aquarians feel undeserving. Now, the good news is that the moon moves into aspects with Uranus, Saturn, and Mars, giving you a boost of energy to really let go of those old mindsets, really remember what it is that you do deserve, reminding you how responsible you are to your own goals. And the bottom line is also reminding you that sometimes you need to ask for help. If you've been trying and trying and trying on your own, Aquarians are always the lone wolf, right? If you've been trying and trying on your own and it's not working, for crying out loud, ask for help, please. I know how difficult this is. I don't like to do it any more than the next Aquarian, but that is our ultimate lesson, is it not? When you think about it, you can't do it all on your own all the time, and sometimes you do need that help. So this week, don't be afraid to ask for it. The truth is that just because you came up with the idea and all this does not mean that you are supposed to be the only one taking care of everything either. And really, you don't want to wear yourself out. You don't need to wear yourself out, not when there's so many wonderful people there to help you out. And the typical Aquarian doesn't know anybody who isn't wonderful, if you know what I mean. So you guys have a great week with that. And finally, Pisces. Neptune is, of course, still in squared position with Saturn, and that is causing some issues there, especially when it comes to your responsibilities and making money. Now, of course, we know that, in order to live this life, making money is a very high priority on our list. It is a big responsibility. And when you feel or you find yourself in the moment of not being able to make money, the typical Pisces will beat themselves up over it. Now, of course, this isn't the right thing to do. And when we're talking about Neptune, Neptune can go two different ways. It represents our innate ability to really listen to our intuition and use our intuition. And of course, Pisces are great at using their intuition. But on the flip side of that, we're talking really deep emotions, and not just really deep emotions, but covering up those really deep emotions, sometimes in dangerous ways with the use of drugs and alcohol and things like that. Now, going the second way is not going to help you, because the more you do this, the more you're burying yourself. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a beer or do all of those things. What I am saying is that you should not use any kind of recreational drugs or alcohol or anything like that to cover up how you feel. Because you're not covering anything up. It's all going to come out. You just won't remember it, unfortunately. And it won't be coming out in a productive way, or a way that you can use to fix it. Now, what you can do, and the good news is that Neptune's aspects with Pluto and Mercury this week are giving you an opportunity to really communicate these deep needs when it comes to your career and make the changes that you need to make in your career. Now, of course, if you make those changes in your career, you're going to have a little bit more luck with the money. So you see how focusing on something else kind of sort of helps that issue out. The whole point to all of this is, don't beat yourself up. You're wasting time beating yourself up. And the more you beat yourself up over making a mistake, or maybe just not being able to do something right now, the more you beat yourself up, the less time you're actually working on finding a fix for the situation. But the sooner you find a fix for the situation, the sooner you can enjoy yourself. And that really is what life is all about. So you guys, have a great week with that. Thanks so much for watching the horoscopes this week. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Check it out. We have got 3 weeks, and that's it, before the 13 card tarot prediction for 2016 is gone, and you have to wait until 2017 to get the next one. 3 weeks to get your orders in, guys. It's only $50. It's totally worth it. It's emailed out to you so that you can refer to it all year long. And if you happen to lose it, I keep a copy for you so that I can send it out to you again. So get those last minute orders in. Order them as Christmas gifts for yourself. Order them as Christmas gifts for somebody else. Order them for whatever gifts you want. Just order it because you want to order it. But get them in before they're gone, because those orders will close December 31st at midnight Pacific time. Again, I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for coming and watching the horoscopes again this week, and I hope you guys have a kick-ass week. I'll see you next week.